Hey guys, it's about beer 30. Let's take a walk into the kitchen and see what's in the fridge today. Hey guys, thanks for stopping by Gregsbeerreviews today. This ought to be a big treat. This is Treehouse's Bright with Citra. So they've used Citra hops on this version of their beer, and it is a double IPA or an Imperial IPA, coming in at 7.8%. The cutoff line must be somewhere around 7.5% there, because this is the second one in about a week that's been in the 7 range that it's been classified as an Imperial or a double. I really didn't think it went to that category until we got to 8%, but evidently I'm wrong. Evidently it's around 7.5% to be considered a double or Imperial, but my personal opinion, I think it should be around 8%. So, because there are a lot of regular IPAs that are done in the 7% range, and they're not classified as a double. So, but anyway, IBUs on this beer is not listed here on Rate Beer, and it's not on Untapped or Beer Advocate, so we don't know what the IBUs are on this beer. This was sent to me by Greg. This is the second package he sent me with some of those awesome beers that are available up there to him that I cannot get here. He sent me some Treehouse and some Trillium beers, and all the beers that those guys produce are pretty damn outstanding. So, and he says on this one, Bright with Citra, he says he thinks it's the Julius Light, and I have had the Julius. While it doesn't have the pillowy mouthfeel of a regular Julius, it is crisp, refreshing, and doesn't taste watery at all. So, looking forward to doing this one. Greg, once again, my friend, my brother, I do appreciate the awesome beers you are sending me. Those guys up there do some really tasty stuff. Just about any time you see these plain Jane silver cans with a stick-on wraparound label, they're concentrating on what's going inside that can or the package instead of buying a lot of high dollar, high price graphics already printed on the can. So, and I don't have a problem with that, none whatsoever. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if they all would go to this and save the money for what they're brewing instead of spending tons of money for a can that's going to get thrown away or graphics on a bottle that's going to get thrown away. That's just my opinion. Alright, commercial description on this one, guys, says this batch Bright was created to be clean and elegant, showcase for a notoriously delicious hop, Citra. It is crafted with simple malt, bill, and fermented with clean American ale yeast to create a flavor profile that is more of a function of its vibrant, fresh ingredients than an expensive expression of yeast character. I'm having trouble reading. Bright with Citra's aroma is a citrus explosion. The taste follows suit with notes of orange juice, grapefruit, and tangerine with a gentle finish. She is dry, soft, and adequately bittering, resulting in an approachable and thirst-quenching IPA. So, that's all we need to talk about. So let me pop the top on this one and tell you the cuisine is barbecue. Cheeses are pepper, Monterey, pepper jack, sharp blue cheddar. Your stronger cheeses, Gorgonzola, Limburger. And the meat is game, grilled meat, and salmon. Last bar sniffer, tulip oversized wine glass. I got my favorite sniffer for this one, guys. And it says there can be cellared, but you don't want to do that. I guess once it gets to the Imperial, they always say you can cellar it. But they got to realize what category the beer is. It's an IPA or a double IPA. So they shouldn't put that on there. They shouldn't just go by the alcohol content no matter what the beer is. That's stupid. They need to change that. They really do. They need to look at the beer and say, can be cellared in a long period under the proper conditions. Yeah, well, go ahead and sell your IPA or your double IPA for 5 years and see how that goes, guys. Some of the information that comes from Rate Beer and Beer Advocate a lot of times is just so misleading. It's wrong. It's so misleading, it's wrong. So you would never want to sell a beer like this. Never, ever. Unless you just like a malt bomb. Because that's what you're going to end up with. Big finger and a half of head on that pour. For something that comes from these guys, it is not that cloudy. This doesn't look like a juice bomb to me at all, which is surprising me. These guys at Trillium and Treehouse, that's what they produce. So this is not a juice bomb. It's probably one of the first ones, other than the darker beers that they produce, that has not been a juice bomb. So fairly clear, unless we get a big batch underneath at the bottom of the can that's going to cloud this up a lot, which it could. You're not gonna be considering this beer. And it has something written on it, so let me pour the last of it in there before we turn it over and spill half of it. Let's get a nose on it. Big piney grapefruit aromas, pineapple, maybe some hints of some tropical fruit, but the pine and the grapefruit are outstanding. There is some strong citrusy notes, strong citrusy notes there, but not as much tangerine or oranges as I would expect for Citra hops. But it does have an outstanding aroma, big pininess to it. Well, let's dive in. It's that time. Cheers, everybody. Cheers, Greg. Very tasty. This goes to show you, you can produce a very, very tasty IPA or a double IPA. And they don't have to be juice bombs. A lot of people don't like those juice bombs, super cloudy, unfiltered beers. I used to be in that category. I didn't like a bunch of junk in the trunk that was floating around, or an unfiltered beer that was real cloudy, because I was a rookie. I was a rookie because the beers that I brew are not, they're a lot like this and even clearer than this, because I do a two-stage fermenting with the primary and the secondary, and all that falls out. I don't filter them, but all that stuff stays in the bottom of the container, and I pump out everything and leave that stuff there. So even though it's an unfiltered beer that I produce, it's still kind of a cloudy beer. And there's a lot of things that you can do to, if you want to have those juice bombs or that super cloudiness, you can do that. I mean, brew it all in the primary and don't filter it, or don't transfer it to a secondary, and a lot of times it'll be cloudy like it. It won't probably look like a juice bomb, but it'll be a cloudy beer. So doing that two-stage and transferring it from one to the other and leaving a lot of that stuff in the bottom will clear your beer or clarify your beer. So this is very tasty. So let me get the last bit of the can in here and see how much more cloudy it is. That did cloud it up a little bit. So there was stuff up in the bottom here. And on the dating for this, it says keep cold. And they've got some markings on there. It's either 1/16 of 2017 or 2/16 of 2017. And Greg doesn't say here on his note if he looked at another can or anything, but they've got an ink smear on here, so and it's covering up that number. If I was guessing, I would say 1/16, because that stripe doesn't look like it's wide enough to cover up a 2. So today is the 25th of February. So it's 1/16. It's about 5 weeks old, and if it's 2/16, I would think it's. I'm pretty sure it's 1/16, guys. 2/16, and I just got it the other day. That would have been a week old. So I'm kind of figuring it's probably a 1/16. So it's still around 5 weeks old. So still very damn fresh. Fresher than I can get most of the beers around here anyway. So you guys can get these beers that fresh. And I know a lot of you guys go to the brewery, the Treehouse and Trillium, because they don't distribute and you have to buy them there. But there are some guys that can get these things at the store that are distributed so quick that they can pick them up when they're 3 to 5 weeks old. And sometimes even faster than that. It depends on how quick the distribution is in their areas. But I'm envious of you guys. And now that the last bit is in there, you can see it clouded up considerably, guys. There was some stuff in the bottom of that can that's probably changed the taste and on the beer, because it does look considerably cloudier, even though I only left about this much in the can before I poured it in there, but it did change the appearance quite a bit. One more taste before I go. Very nice citrusy aroma on it now. Oh, that's delicious. That's very nice. For 7.8% alcohol, super well hidden, very well made beer, guys. And as you can see, it changed it quite a bit. Before I could see through it, I cannot now. So it looks more like something that I expect from these guys at Trillium and Treehouse. Most of their stuff, if not all of it, are unfiltered beers, and that looks like that now that I got the last bit in the can here. So even setting for 5 weeks, some of that has settled into the bottom of the can. So, alright guys, let me sip on this for a little bit. Very tasty beer, very impressive, nice slicing. It's already leaving on the glass. I'm impressed with what these guys do. I really like their stuff, and you guys that can get them like Greg and some of your other guys that live in that area up there in Monson, Massachusetts area. Very tasty beers. Very, very tasty. I'll be right back. Alright guys, I'm back. Been sipping on this a little while. The other half loved it. I knew she would. I had to pry it out of her hands, as a matter of fact. Very tasty, very nice presence of the Citra hops, very citrusy, nice pininess to this, grapefruit, hint of some oranges and tangerines, maybe a little bit of mango. Very awesome beer, very, very awesome beer. And like you seen earlier, it didn't really get cloudy until I poured that last little bit out of the can in here. It was fairly clear. So it had settled into the bottom of the can. So make sure you get it all into the vessel that you're drinking from to get it all in there. Because a lot of times I would pour half of this or a bigger bottle in the other half's glass. When we poured the bottom half of the bottle in there, it would look completely different than what I was drinking. So a lot of times that stuff does settle in the bottom of the can or the bottle. So very tasty, very awesome beer from the guys at Treehouse as usual. So I enjoyed this thoroughly. I would buy this beer if I could get it here. So, Greg, once again, my brother, I do appreciate it. Awesome beers you're able to get your hands on up there. Final chug. Wow. That is delicious, guys. Very, very tasty. I am a big fan of the Citra hops. I have brewed with it before. Very awesome. A very tasty hop. So, guys, for me, this is definitely an A beer. I'm on the fence between a 9 and a 10. I can't read the month on this one, so I'm going to give this one a 9. Whatever's going on with their dating machine, it left a big stripe over top of the 1 or the 2, whatever is on there, which made it very, very hard to read. So they need to correct that. That would be an influence on me, if I'm buying this in March or April, I couldn't read whether it was a 1 or a 2. So very tasty beer though, guys. And a lot of people might say, oh, you shouldn't cut the grade for that. Yeah, maybe not, but I did. It's my beer reviews. I can do what I so choose. It is an awesome beer, though. These guys do incredibly well done juice bombs. So, very tasty, guys. 9 out of 10 for me on this one. Numeric grading on this one is, since it was so outstanding, other than not being able to read the month on there, 99. It is that close. And if I could read the date, I would probably went on ahead and gave it to 10. But I wanted to see what month it is and not have a big ink stripe over top of that and not being able to see it. Alright, over to Beer Advocate. Beer Advocate has it at 93. I think it's better than a 93, I really do. Over to Rate Beer, not enough people have commented on Rate Beer. They don't have at least 10 people that have commented on this beer. And over to Untapped, they have it at 4.4. Excellent numbers from those guys. That's a 9 out of 10 from those guys. And that's where I'm putting it. So, very tasty beer. If you've had this one, they're bright with Citra. Let me know what you think, guys. Come on back tomorrow. Let's dig something out of that bridge. See you then.